The season finale was brilliant. You know, there were rumors that the curse was going to break and it would be broken by the end of the season, but I didn't believe it until I read it. And I thought that was quite bold, but it made a great finale. And so now our second season is what? Where do we go with this? And I am in the dark. But I kind of like it. And I think Eddie and Adam, our writers, our creators, purposely don't tell us or give us any information because they want us to have the first time experience, you know, as the characters and also as the actors with every script that comes out. And there's a surprise element to that, which I really, over time, embraced. But Magic and Storybook, I can't wait. And you know, my prediction is that Regina's gonna find ways to use it in order to get Henry back. And then obviously, to, you know, probably destroy Mr. Gold. Oh gosh, I'm so excited to see what happens between Rumpelstiltskin and the Evil Queen. I'm sure many are. But I'm also interested to see how she saves her relationship with Henry. It's an important relationship in her life, right? It's like her one and only love. So I'm curious to see how she's going to salvage the relationship. I'm quite surprised. I had no idea the direction that these writers were going to go in, and I really love how they've been able to flesh out these characters. You know, why is Grumpy grumpy, and you know, who is Jiminy Cricket, and how did he become a cricket? And I love that they're doing this, and it's, you know, we know these fairy tale characters because we've read them, or our parents have read these stories to us, but we've never seen them like this before. And I think that's why the show really works, is everyone can relate to these characters on some level, from, you know, an 8-year-old little girl to an 80-year-old man. Like, it really just touches everyone across the board in every age group. But I love where they're going. I love these backstories. I love the characters that I've been able to play. I feel like I've played 4 different roles, and what a great opportunity for an actor to be able to play 4 roles in one show. You know, not many people know that I played the old hag, but I played the old hag. It was a lot of fun. You know, I like to approach each world differently, really. I separate the scripts. I break them down, and on one side I have Storybook, and the other I have Fairy Tale Land. And depending on if it's a heavy Mayor Regina script, I focus more on her. I think she's a much more complex woman overall. She's a harder character to play. So I find myself giving her more attention. And with the Evil Queen, there are many challenging moments, but I can just really go anywhere with her. Well, she doesn't put everything out there, right? She masks everything, and she hides behind that smile. And there's a lot going on in her eyes, and the audience sees it, but no one else really does. And she has a lot of secrets. So working through all that, it takes time. She's a harder role to play. You know, that was the choice that I made very early on, was how do I humanize this iconic, classic, you know, Disney character, or fairy tale character rather. And I thought if I didn't find that, then it wouldn't work. I had to find that thread in order for it to work. And I try in every episode to show more colors and more layers and more complexities in both characters, and more so in Regina. And now it's a lot of fun too, now that the worlds are merging. I'm starting to bring the Evil Queen into the Mayor a little bit more. Oh, it was one of the most challenging episodes for me, this Stable Boy episode. That last scene, I couldn't wrap my head around it until they were setting up. And I read that scene probably 4 or 5 times a day for 8 days. And I had several conversations with the director about that scene, because I couldn't understand it. I, as the actor, read the script and went, but she's a child. And she didn't mean it. And she really just, she didn't want Regina to lose her mom. How do I make this work? And why does she want to kill her? And it was a tricky And the director and I, like I said, went back and forth day after day after day. And it wasn't until literally after the rehearsal and they were setting up the scene to shoot that we got it. It's a very long answer, as you can imagine. But I think ultimately, you know, she felt betrayed. Ultimately, she felt betrayed, and the one love that she, you know, in fairy tale land, you only have one love. And so that's hard. She can never replace him. And as an actor, one of the choices, and it came to me in the scene when I was filming with Bailey, who's Madison, who's just a brilliant talent. She gave me a look, and I just looked at her, and I was like, "You little bitch! You did this because you wanted me for yourself." And it was like the thought. It wasn't my thought. It was young Regina's thought. It was her twisted mind and how she saw it. And then, you know, out of that, just the revenge builds, and she wants to get back on her. So it was a very complicated scene, but when I watch it, it terrifies me. And look in my eyes, a lot happened in that scene. But I talked to Eddie and Adam for days and said, "Help me understand this." And they said, "Just figure it out. You can figure it out. We trust you." And we did. Hope that my mother and her friends wouldn't stop giving me grief because I killed him. It was so, I'm like, "Mom, it's a television show. I didn't really kill him. He's living in London." But, yeah, I don't know. I hope that Regina does find love somehow, you know. Everyone needs love in their life, and it would be nice if she had that. There's a huge fan base out there. People love Graham / you know, the sheriff. So maybe he will come back in the second season, but I don't know. I really love the Mad Hatter. I think Sebastian Stan's a great actor as well, and I just think the character is so interesting. And many people ask me if I could play another character on the show, who would it be? And I would say the Mad Hatter. Now, if I had to play another Disney character or fairy tale character, I would say Ursula, because I just think she's just so fun, right? But I'd like to see more of the Mad Hatter, and I think we will. I'm almost certain we will. He has a bone to pick with Regina, right? He wants his daughter back. But there are some new characters that I would love to see, and you know, people want to see mermaids on the show, and of course I want to have an evil mermaid on the show. But I'd love to see Jack and the Beanstalk, characters that we haven't seen, you know, from fairy tales that we've read, and I'd love new characters to come onto the show. Well, it's interesting because we all, you know, most of us are from Los Angeles, or we live in Los Angeles, and we all had to move up there with no friends but each other. So that in itself brought us quite close. It's circumstance, and also working on a great show. You know, I think the one common denominator is the show. We all love the show, and sometimes we sit there and read it on our iPhones the minute the script comes out, and we converse and talk about it and exchange notes, and it's just, anytime you work with someone 70 hours a week, you end up getting very close to them. I would say Robert Carlyle has become a really good friend. I think the villains always team up somehow, right? So yeah, we've become really, really good friends. Yeah. That's a long story. It's not that interesting though, but I was about 10 years old, and I had a cat at the time, and he was sitting in my lap, and we were out front of the house, and a dog attacked us, and I got caught in the middle. My mom always says, "You saved your cat's life, Lana. Just look at it that way." So. But, you know, it took me a long time. I hated it forever, and now it's, you know, it's part of me. I don't even know what I look like without it anymore. So many years ago. So there it is. I used to come up with really interesting stories, like I was kidnapped and taken to Cuba, and then it was like, too many questions, let's be honest.